to have it rain $100,000. Focusing on a third win in a row is the next project, but they might just be backing up into a third championship. Only this time, Ron, try to keep it off the wall.
It's all right, Ron. We can afford it now.
What they can't afford to do is to stop policing themselves. Oh, yeah, they've won 2 in a row. They're loose. They're having a good time. But if they don't secure every lug nut, if they don't save every drop of fuel, the boys in blue could be seeing red.
Winning at Bakersfield was 6 short months ago for Dennis Setzer. Now, after 2 tremendous Mopar performances this season, he's ready to put the #1 truck in the #1 spot. But there are more tough Rams out there. Stacy Compton has finished in the top 5 every race and hopes to see R.C. Cola flowing in victory lane. Randy Tolsma's only truck victory came here 2 years ago. So there's one thing for sure, it will be tough to dodge success today at Mesa Marin. While Setzer and Tolsma ram their way up through the field, it will be Stacy Compton who starts the day off out front with the quickest truck. He's already proven to be the most popular driver, but Stacy would like to leave today as the king of the hill.
Today, ESPN is live from the birthplace of the Nascar Craftsman Truck Series in Bakersfield, California. It's the Dodge California Truck Stop 300 from Mesa Marin Raceway. And we have got a huge crowd on hand. Let's take a look at the championship chase after 3 of 25 races. Ron Hornaday leads. He has 2 victories this year, 45 points ahead of Stacy Compton, 79 in front of Mike Wallace and Jack Sprague. Remember, after Miami, he was 24th? Well, he's climbed 20 spots in the last 2 rounds of racing. Welcoming Jeremy Dale to our broadcast booth. Good to have you with us, Jeremy. And I know you're as pumped as I am because we've been watching great action all day yesterday and now in this morning.
Well, Marty, I love this NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and it is great to be here with you guys. I'm really looking forward to this 300-lap race today.
So as we get ready, let's take a look at our Mopar starting grid. The trucks are already out on the course. Stacy Compton with his 3rd career pole will start alongside Greg Biffle. That's his best start of 99. In row 2, Ron Hornaday going for 3 in a row. If he does it, it's the 2nd time in his career. Kevin Harvick finished 5th here last year. In row number 3, Jimmy Hensley will line up along Jack Sprague. Sprague has never won here at Mesa Marin. In row 4, it's Mike Bliss, Dennis Setzer. Setzer, the defending champion of this race. And in row 5, it'll be Mike Wallace and the surprise of qualifying, first time out this year, B.A. Wilson.
In row 6, number 3, Jay Sauter and Butch Miller. And Setzer started in 12th last year, back on row 6. Row 7 is Ron Barfield and Rick McRae. Barfield coming off his best finish, 3rd up at Monroe. Row 8, Mike Stefanik and Scott Hansen, the 2 guys fighting it out for the USG rookie. Row 9 is Lonnie Rush and Randy Tolsma. Tolsma won here in 97. And row 10 is Rick Crawford and Andy Houston. Both of these guys, this is their worst performance in qualifying this year.
As we take a look at the rest of the field, positions 11 on down, or rows 11 on down, the key here is not going to be fuel. We're in another half-mile short track situation. Tires.
Tires are a big deal, and qualifying last night was a big deal. Rick Corelli there, you saw him on row 13. He'd been quickest in the first practice session. Couldn't put it together last night. Tires are a big deal here.
Larry Carnes, the only driver to be sent home out of the 35 that tried to qualify. Let's take a look at the race analysis. 300 laps, 150 miles. The purse over $337,000. 140 laps for fuel, but we'll be seeing them for tires a lot sooner than that. Let's take a look at the onboard camera situation.
And here's our first onboard. It's Andy Houston in the number 60 truck starting in 20th. This is Mike Wallace starting 9th. And this is Dennis Setzer starting 8th in the Mopar Performance Dodge. And up on the pole, Stacy Compton in the number 86 Royal Crown Cola Dodge.
Coming out of turn 4, it's time to go to war once again as we get ready for Tim Berman to send us onto the green flag, and we are underway at Mesa Marin. Contact between Sprague and Harvick on turn 2. They both survive.
But a great start by Biffle. Goes around the outside coming at it, too, and takes the lead. He'll lead that first lap.
So Greg Biffle has had all kinds of problems in the early part of the season, finds himself leading after lap number 1. He says, we're just not good on the slick track. But guess what? This is a slick track, and he is pulling away from Stacy Compton. Hornaday in third, Sprague fourth. How many times have we had that combination going nose to tail? End of lap number 2. 300 laps here. Remember, it's a long time around here. For the next 2 hours, just sit back and relax and enjoy. Here comes the battle further back. On board with Dennis Setzer. Right in front of him is Jimmy Hensley.
And you can see these guys stacked up behind Harvick, the local boy.
Yeah, Harvick's dropped back to 5th.
And you can see a little gap there develop between Harvick and the 24 truck. Look at these trucks bounce.
There's 2 key areas in turn 2. Oh, we got a battle for second place right now. Little banging going on between the 16 of Ron Hornaday. And as you can see, Stacy Compton's been moved back to 3rd.
And Ron Hornaday admitted he didn't get his best lap put together in qualifying. As we said, very tricky last night, very cold conditions. And he was much quicker in practice than he was in qualifying. Look at him now, rolling up behind Biffle.
So Hornaday has reeled in Greg Biffle, and now Sprague has got Stacy Compton in his gun sights. Biffle, the first 2 races of the season, qualified 4th both times, finished 11th. His best finish was last week, where he came in 10th, and here comes Ron Hornaday taking the race lead.
And this is significant for Hornaday because he has got tons and tons of bonus points. He's been outscoring everyone on these bonus points. And here's Sprague now behind Compton, trying to make a move on Compton.
As we go back on board with Stacy, he's going to surrender the position. Now, a big question has to be, is he managing the tires, letting these guys going out to an early quick pace, or does he have a problem because he's backed up from the pole to 4th?
Well, that's a good question, Marty, but more importantly, what about those bonus points for leading laps that Hornaday's been so impressive with this year?
Hornaday has picked up 25 bonus points, more than anybody else on tour. We're just underway at Mesa Marin. Stay with us. A lot more coming your way with the Dodge California Truck Stop 300. ESPN's coverage of the Nascar Craftsman Truck Series is brought to you by the new Dodge. It's about change. By Mopar, parts for Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep vehicles from the dealerships that sell and install them. That's the Mopar difference. And by Porter Cable, professional power tools since 1906. Marty Reed along with Jeremy Dale, Amy East, and Dave Burns patrolling pit lane. You're looking at the battle for the race lead. That is Ron Hornaday in front of Greg Biffle. We are working lap 17 of 300. Hornaday, the 51st race in the series history that he has led. Nobody's led more than him.
And you can see the leaders now starting to lap the slower trucks. And on these long runs, the traffic will be a big deal here. This is the battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th on board with Setzer.
And Setzer is in 6th place right now.
And look at Harvick.
Boy.
Harvick getting a run on Compton, down into 1.
We checked with our pit lane. Amy East checked in and said that the case was that the 86 is trying to save some tire management, that they might drop back to as low as 5th. But right now, he's in jeopardy of being bumped back to that 5th spot. It'll be interesting to see if they'll start picking up the pace then.
Well, I think they'll probably bide their time. But again, you saw Hornaday jump out front early on, and he can control that race from out front and still go out and lead laps and lead the most laps and get those bonus points.
Battle still continuing. Harvick underneath. Now remember, Harvick from Bakersfield. He's got about 300 friends and relatives as they come side by side. He can't get the job done yet. He says, if I win this thing, you will hear a huge roar from the grandstands.
Still there. Still there. Slow truck ahead.
That's the Stacy Compton crew talking to him, his spotter, letting him know that he's still underneath him.
And Compton a little high there off 4. And a lot of the drivers talking about how the groove will move up the racetrack, and the racing should get better as we go on. As the groove moves up the racetrack, you can run that 2nd lane and you can run the 3rd lane.
Now we've got a smoker with the number 85 coming around. That's B.A. Wilson. Now, he had started in 10th, but it doesn't look like he's going to have another good finish. He had 3. Oh, boy, there it went, just as he pulls into pit lane.
Yeah, that's big trouble. A great qualifying performance, and he really got a lot of people's attention by putting that car 10th on the grid.
Ron Hornaday gets everybody's attention no matter where he goes. There is Jack Sprague and Greg Biffle. That is the battle for second place right now. They're about a 1 second gap between those two and our race leader, Ron Hornaday.
Well, Sprague was working on Biffle for a number of laps there, finally able to move from third up into second.
Notice the speeds at last lap, everybody up around the 90 to 91, and boy, BA has climbed out of that thing as it's smoking heavily. He's okay. The truck's going to need a lot of work before they get ready for the next race. He's going to run a limited schedule this year. Meanwhile, there's a guy that's running every single race, and he's won 2 in a row. And Ron Hornaday right now has about a 3/4 of a second lead over Jack Sprague. And again, here on this half-mile Mesa Marin Oval, from this point on, you're almost always going to be approaching some kind of traffic. And you can see one of the trucks up ahead as they come out of turn 4. This will be completing lap number 26 of 300.
These guys running very low down in 1 and 2. You can see Hornaday coming off 4, letting the truck roll up the racetrack a little bit.
Sprague right on the back bumper now of Ron Hornaday. You know, Hornaday has led every race here with 691 total laps that he has been out front. He loves to put that, look at that left front tire right down below the white line.
And we saw it in qualifying. If you didn't have that truck right down on that white line, you weren't fast.
By the end of the race, don't be surprised if you see him going off-road, putting 2 of them down in there and kicking up a little dirt. It has been known to happen in the past. In fact, we just saw a little puff right there. You know, I was talking to Stacy Compton, who was second in the championship points.
Look at that.
Whoa, getting a little sideways as Sprague tried to take a look underneath. Couldn't get the job done.
Hornaday a little bit high there in the middle of 3.
You're all clear behind him if you need it.
We're listening in on Ron Hornaday's radio. Sprague, he has definitely got the line underneath him. I don't think Ron can get the truck down low enough right now. Now he may finally be able to see if he can get underneath and hold it down, but it's running up on him.
It is definitely running up on him, and it makes you wonder if he didn't run those tires too hard in those first 20 laps.
There is Greg Biffle side by side. Here's Harvick and Stacy Compton. So maybe that was a tire management issue all the way. Compton managing to hold his own now as we go back on board.
And Biffle now falling back, and there is Biffle. Oh,
And that's called contact.
little love tap.
We can't get much closer to the contact than that. Let's go down to Amy. She's got more on Stacy Compton.
Marty, you are exactly right. It is tire management, but it's also Dodge teamwork. Stacy Compton is wanting Dennis Setzer to team up with him so they can work their way up through the pack. It looks like Setzer's at Compton's tail now. Look for the 2 of them to make their way up to the front.
Thanks, Amy. Lap traffic is Ryan McGlynn in the 00 and Augie Vidovich in the number 5. Everybody gets around him safely. Setzer's not able to keep right up with Stacy Compton right now as Harvick's between the 2 of them. Back to the battle for the lead. Here comes Jack Sprague. Remember, you get 5 bonus points for leading a lap and 5 more for leading the most laps. Who's going to lead this lap? It's still Hornaday.
This championship last year decided by 3 points. That tells you how important these bonus points are for these guys.
One of the things that I was interested in, Sandy Jones, Ron Hornaday's crew chief, said, we're going to go out, we're going to try and lead most laps every single race. We figure we can gather so many bonus points, and they've already gathered more so far this year than anybody else, as you've now got Jack Sprague into the race lead over Hornaday. That is Brian Refner in the number 7. He has replaced Tom Hubert in that truck, and oh, Hornaday's going to get boxed there.
Still there.
So Jack Sprague becomes our third race leader here already in the early go of the Dodge California truck stop. And we'll show you exactly what happened. And take a look, because I almost got our leaders.
And this is coming off turn 4. Scott Hansen spins on the front straightaway. There he is. And look at the leaders. They split him.
So Jack Sprague is still your race leader. Ron Hornaday is second place. In third, it is Stacy Compton. There is Scott Hansen making his way into the pits, and Hornaday has come into pit lane. Jack Sprague has stayed out. Sprague said he was going to go 100 laps before he would stop. Let's go down to Dave Burns. He's with Ron Hornaday.
Marty, Ron is very, very loose. They're going to go to the right side, and they plan to take a rubber out of the right front to try to tighten him up. I don't know, and I can't see if they got it out of there, but that was their plan. Biffle's crew also thought they might be coming in. They have an extremely loose condition as well, but so far, we've not seen the 50 on pit lane.
Jay Sauter has also pitted. Lonnie Rush, Rick McRae, Kevin Sawinski. Scott Hansen needed to because he needed to get fresh tires. There's Mike Dolan. He's the guy holding that paddle board. He has now signaled that those guys that it did stop can get back into the back of the line. You lose a lot of track position here, Jerry, but Hornaday was really worried.
Well, that's true. You especially lose a lot of track position because there aren't a lot of trucks that are a lap down at this stage. 23 trucks right now sitting on the lead lap. There is Hansen.
Now, he had that problem that we just showed you, but he also had a problem earlier. Watch what happens as he comes through. There he is on the left side of your screen.
Well, he gets caught up high there and does a great job not to spin this truck or get it up into the wall, but that was a warm-up for what he would do only a few laps later.
Yeah, his best finish so far was 7th at Homestead, our first race of the year. He was 13th last time out. Stay with us. We're still under yellow here at Mesa Marin. Jack Sprague is your race leader. Craftsman Truck Series. We're just back to green flag racing, and you're looking at race leader Jack Sprague. Stacy Compton has moved up to 2nd. Kevin Harvick is now 3rd. Greg Biffle 4th. Dennis Setzer is 5th. During the pit stops, we can tell you that Ron Hornaday has dropped all the way back to 19th.
And that is not the tail end of the lead lap, but it's very close to the tail end. Look at Compton now going high into 1.
Now, Compton had a chance to let those tires cool down a little bit, so he has managed them very well.
And this track position, real critical. These guys will get some good, clean laps if they'll stop racing side by side.
Donut already on the right rear quarter.
Still there.
Couple of them.
Truck.
Couple of donuts.
I'll tell you why it's
Still
important
there.
right now. Stacy Compton has to get a lead lap because he did not
Still
lead after
there.
lap
Got a
number
measure.
1, so
Now
he
he's
does not
inside you
collect
again.
5 bonus points yet. That's why he wants to get it done right now.
Still
Not have to
there.
worry about it till later.
The problem is if these guys run side by side like this, that advantage in track position that they have on Hornaday doesn't really do them any good because they can't run fast running side by side.
During that last round of pit stops, we can tell you Ron Hornaday, Jay Sauter, Rick McRae, and Lonnie Rush all pitted for right side tires. They are all back in about the 17th position on down. Sprague still side by side with Stacy Compton. Boy, you talk about having some confidence in each other. They're about 3 inches apart down the backstretch. We're working lap 53 of 300. Sprague does not want to let him lead a lap, does he?
Well, he led that last lap officially, and now Sprague officially leads this one. So Compton did lead that last lap. He does get 5 bonus points. Look at Sprague there down low, getting loose, coming off 2.
So if he's got the bonus points, I'd almost say it might be advantageous to slide back into position. Yeah, and now he's got it cleanly.
Yeah, forget about that, Marty. He's going to lead this race.
He's going to take it off and move on out as we're listening in to Stacy Compton's radio. Update you on Ron Hornaday while you're watching this battle for the race lead. He has moved into 16th position. Now he's 8 seconds behind the race lead. There he is, Hornaday, just getting around Mike Stefanik. Terry Cook is his next victim in line. Hornaday's now shown in 15th spot after getting around Stefanik. Here he comes around Cook on the outside. Back to the battle up front. We're already getting back into more lap traffic. Compton going to go on the outside. That's Brendan Gaughan. Something wrong with the Orleans Chevrolet. He had a hard time coming back to speed on the green flag, and he's very slow there. So we take a look at our Napa Field summary. Here's the points battle, how they stand as far as the best Fords. Kevin Harvick in 3rd, Biffle in 5th, Mike Bliss in 6th. As far as the Chevrolet camp, Sprague is running 2nd. Rick Corelli has moved up to 12th.
All the way from 25th. Great performance by Corelli.
First time we've seen Mike Bliss and Mike Wallace, and they're going around Greg Biffle, and that's for 5th. Rookie points championship. There you see Stefanik and Hansen running 1-2, separated by 4 points. Something seems to be slipping away from Biffle right here. He is losing ground to both Bliss and now Mike Wallace. Let's go down to Dave Burns. You got more on Biffle?
Marty, they really wanted to come in that time and put left side tires on the truck to try to tighten it up. He is extremely loose, undrivable through the corners, but they didn't because the leader at that time, Jack Sprague, did not come in. They didn't want to sacrifice the track position that Ron Hornaday did.
Well, they're sacrificing some more right now because he's under attack from Butch Miller. And Miller shown in 8th, Biffle in 7th. It looks like he may lose it this time by.
And there's Barfield now. Barfield, the 55 truck, rolling up behind the 50 truck of Biffle.
Making our way back to the number 6 of Rick Corelli. This guy qualified 26. Here comes Hornaday right behind him. So Hornaday's moved up to 13th. This is a battle for 12th between two of the guys that have run all 101 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series races.
Now Hornaday's got those fresh tires. The question is, will he burn them down trying to get back up front?
A little further back, there's Andy Houston running with Lonnie Rush. The 60 truck is shown in 17th right now. They have been struggling all weekend long. Meanwhile, the battle, as Hornaday has gotten around Corelli, takes over that 12th position. His next target, Hornaday's that is the 25 of Randy Tolsma. Let's go to Dave Burns with more on Rick Corelli.
Mesa Marin Raceway is like a second home to Rick Corelli, and he didn't think he'd have any problem racing the 6 truck today, but he did have problem in qualifying, the same problem that Randy Tolsma had. They couldn't get any traction coming off the corners on sticker tires. Now that their tires are worked in, both the 6 and the 25 truck are looking much stronger.
Not as strong as Ron Hornaday, Dave, because he just went by Tolsma, and now he's got Jimmy Hensley in his gun sights, watching him carve his way through this field on this half-mile Mesa Marin oval. He's like a surgeon.
Well, and that's 10th now, so he's inside the top 10, and that is Biffle just in front of him. But again, he's on those fresh tires. Not surprising to see him drive around the outside of these guys, but will he burn them down getting back up front?
Well, he's just taken Biffle for 9th.
Of course, the advantage Hornaday has is that they did make a chassis adjustment on that pit stop. So, in a sense, he's one stop ahead in terms of adjusting the truck to the racetrack.
While all this is going on, we'll remind you that Stacy Compton has got about a 0.2 of a second lead over Jack Sprague. Kevin Harvick is running in 3rd. Nothing's changed up front. We're watching Ron Hornaday do what he does best, pass people. 233 laps still to go here at Mesa Marin. There is the battle for the lead as it's heated up a little bit. Sprague stuck a nose underneath Compton, couldn't get the job done.
You can see now Compton is running about 1 truck width off the bottom of the racetrack.
Quarter.
Stacy Compton's radio, you heard him talk about quarter. That means the quarter panel. That's Nelson Richardson in the 23. He's lap traffic.
Got 3 trucks on Sprague, 3.
Still on board with Stacy. There's Sprague. You knew he wasn't going to be gone for long. Working down the back straightaway. See that big grandstand off in the distance there? We'll tell you a little bit more about the history of that grandstand at Mesa Marin. They just put that up, about 2,800 seats. Compton is your race leader. Back with more after this. We're back at Mesa Marin Raceway, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. We've got a new race leader. While we were in commercial break, Kevin Harvick took advantage of lap traffic and some great driving and got around both Stacy Compton and Jack Sprague, and he is pulling away. Now let's take you back and show you what happened.
Now that's Harvick in the 98 truck down on the inside, and he's got to use a bit more of the racetrack there. And Sprague just overdrives it into 3, gets up high, and that allows Harvick to take the lead.
Our 7th lead change, 5th different race leader. And don't be surprised if you see that quarter cable Ford drop 2 wheels off every single time. Kevin says the secret to going fast here is you got to be willing to go off-road. The hometown hero, well, his first NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series start was back here in 1995 when he was just 19. His first top 10 came here in 97 when he finished 8th. And his last top 5 finish, 5th, right here in 1998. done very well here at this track. Last year, when he ran 5th, that was in the 75, the Spears machine, the Spears Chevrolet. No Ford has ever won this race, so Harvick's carrying the colors right now, and everybody was on their feet when he went by. Now, let's also go back and see the gap now forming between 1st and 2nd. It is almost a full second. In fact, it is now just over 1 full second. Back to Stacy Compton, and Compton's starting to push up there.
Well, look at how low Harvick is able to run down in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. None of these other guys at this point can do that.
Let's go down to Dave Burns. He's got more on Kevin Harvick.
Marty, think about the journey they've been on this year. They had a failed water pump at Homestead. They had a starter solenoid break off and shorten out the electrical system in Phoenix. But last week at Evergreen Speedway in Monroe, Washington, with everything bad that was going on, he finished. That's the first time he's ever finished at Monroe. And with the way he's running here today, they're definitely on the upside of the curve.
He ran 9th last week, and this truck's name is Bullet, and it's because it's a bull on the short tracks. Now this battle going on between Andy Hewson and Mike Stefanik, and this is for 18th. You wonder why we get so excited about the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series? We got battles all the way back deep in the field.
Well, and look at that rear bumper on the truck of Stefanik there. He's already made some contact.
You know, talking to Mike Stefanik yesterday, you and I, he made a great observation. He came out of the gate at Homestead, surprised everybody with a great second-place run, and has fallen back a little bit each time ever since. And he made a great point. He said, hey, I got some test time down there. These other tracks, it's my first time here.
Well, and that's the thing. Mike Stefanik's got a lot of racing in the Northeast, but especially these West Coast tracks, he doesn't know these racetracks, and so he needs time. There's no substitute. He also has never driven a truck, so he needs to learn how the truck works.
There is Mike Stefanik as we take a look as he as his 5th career start. His first start was last year at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where he came home in 7th place. Dave, you've got more on Mike?
Jeremy mentioned the new racetrack for Mike Stefanik. Well, Marty, as you know, if you've raced somewhere that feels like a new place, you can sometimes do really well. And Mike told me just before we started that this place is similar to a place in Holland, New York. It's shorter. It's only 3/8 of a mile, but it races a lot like Mesa Marin Raceway. So Stefanik feels sort of at home.
He's in 18th position right now. Still trying to work his way to the front.
And, you know, here's a guy who is 40 years old, who's in contention for the Rookie of the Year honors in the Craftsman Truck Series. He's got a tremendous amount of experience, and he can really apply that experience to this truck and to this series. And really, that'll do a lot for him. That'll carry him a long way in this truck series.
Now we're looking back at Jack Sprague. This is the battle for 3rd. Dennis Setzer. That's Rob Morgan in the 46. He's lap traffic. We're listening to Jack Sprague's radio. Just as I stop talking, they stop talking.
Well, that's always the way it is.
This battle's going to go on for a while. We've got to go away for a few moments. Don't go anywhere, though. The Dodge California Truck Stop 300 is going to continue right after this. Jeremy Dale, I'm Marty Reed, Amy East and Dave Burns in pit lane, and we're at the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race round 4 here at Mesa Marin. And take a look at that number 16. You're not imagining anything. He has gotten around both Dennis Setzer and Jack Sprague. Hornaday is now in 3rd place after being all the way back to 19th after a pit stop, and he is on the move.
He is on the move, and he drove by those guys like they were standing still. This is Hornaday rolling up on Compton.
Let's go back a little bit earlier when you can see what happened. He's already around Setzer, and here he goes, boom, gives him a little biff, says, hey, Jack, hi, it's me, I'm back. On board with Stacy Compton. He's in 2nd place right now. Setzer has gotten around Sprague. Sprague may be having some tires going away on him.
I hate to tell you, Marty, but Hornaday's up to 2nd.
Yeah, Hornaday has gotten around Stacy Compton while we were on board, and Stacy's pushing up as well. There goes Hornaday. That's the Napa Chevrolet just sort of like pulling away. There is your race leader, the Porter Cable Ford of Kevin Harvick. And he is getting ready to put Greg Biffle a lap down. Now remember, Biffle led the first lap of this race.
Started on the front row, led the first lap. Right now, sitting back in 16th.
So if he gets around him, which it looks like it's going to happen. Oh, look at Biffle. He is so loose. And we now have only 15 trucks on the lead lap. Let's go down to Amy. She's got more on Greg Biffle.
Wow, Greg Biffle is so loose, as you all can see at home. This team really wants a yellow. They don't want to come in and make a green flag pit stop, but they might have to get tires and a track bar adjustment. Anything possible to get that truck tight and suck it down to the inside of the track is exactly what Greg Biffle needs right now.
There you can see the serial on Biffle where he started second and right now finds himself a lap down. If the yellow came out right now, it wouldn't really help that much.
No, now that he's gone a lap down, they really wanted that yellow before he went a lap down. That's where it really would have helped him. A little contact there between Crawford and Biffle.
Both of them survived it. Right now, Terry Cook is in 15th. He's about to go a lap down to our race leader. There is Ron Hornaday. You saw him coming through. He is 1.8 seconds behind the 98 of Kevin Harvick. And yes, you're right. That is the 60 of Andy Houston. He is a lap down. As we go on board with Andy, and you can just see, boy, they have been chasing that truck, the Cat Rental Store Chevrolet, all weekend long, and they just haven't found the combination.
No, they've just been pretty much out of touch with what that truck needs to get around this racetrack. And they were very confident. We talked to him on Friday, and they felt great about their chances here, but they just never got a handle on the truck.
Here comes one of the factors that's going to get worse as the day goes on. You notice that little glare from the sun as McGlynn gets into Biffle right there? Wait till later in the day. You won't be able to see anything because the sun will get so low. Also, notice that grandstand we mentioned a little earlier off to the right there? That grandstand was a transplant from guess where? Where'd that grandstand come from?
Oh, I know the answer.
From Riverside, turn 6. Believe it or not. Dave Burns, you got more?
More on the glare, Marty. The drivers told me right before we went green that it's definitely going to be a problem later in the day. Most of them have put 3 to 4 strips of tape across the windshield on the inside, on the driver's side, to try to curb that. But, of course, they've still got to see under it to see the track.
Thanks, Dave. You know, one of the things as we take a look at this battle, there is Dennis Setzer. He is currently running in 3rd place. He's going by Andy Houston. I don't want to put a jinx on this, but we may be on a record pace right now. We've had 1 yellow in our first 107 laps. Probably was the kiss of death, but so far so good. There is Ron Hornaday in 2nd place. He's 1.1 seconds behind our race leader, Kevin Harvick, here at the Dodge California Truck Stop 300. Stay with us. If you love short track racing, you've come to the right place. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. We're on board here with Andy Houston. That is Stacy Compton right in front. Compton has dropped back to 4th position. We're looking out the back now. The 24 of Jack Sprague is in 5th. Here's the battle for the race lead. Kevin Harvick in the 98. That is David Starr in the 73. He's lapped traffic. Here comes Hornaday underneath. Hornaday is in 2nd.
Now, with clean racetrack, these guys were running about the same pace, but when they get into traffic, Hornaday on those fresher tires is just able to move the truck and put it wherever he wants it, and that's what's let him close up on Kevin Harvick.
Here's the serial on Kevin, leading 41 laps so far. As we go by the finish line this time, let's take a look at the speed, see who is really the quickest out there on the racetrack. So far, Kevin Harvick, this time 90.8 miles an hour. Of course, everybody else, here comes Setzer at 89. On down through the pack. Look at the 18 moving into 6th spot now. That's Butch Miller.
And a lot of this will depend on traffic and where these guys are.
So that time by, it was Kevin Harvick who was the quickest. So far, again, he's in that 90-mile-an-hour range. Setzer the 2nd fastest. Looks like that's going to be the way it'll hold up for this lap.
And look at Hornaday now, moved up the racetrack again. So you have to ask yourself, what kind of shape are those tires in after marching his way through the field?
I'm going to throw out an equation here that may come into play, which we didn't think it would. We're working lap number 120. The fuel window, as we go on board with Dennis Setzer, that's Rob Morgan lap traffic in front of him. We may have to have green flag pit stops because the window opens at 140 and they got to stop before 160. We're listening in on Dennis Setzer's radio. He's looking to repeat here at Bakersfield. Remember, he came into that race last year to replace Bob Keselowski, who had an injured back, and turned out to be a great day for the Keselowski team. solidified their deal with the Mopar Dodge and solidified Dennis Setzer's position as the #1 driver.
He's gone, and I don't
Got a yellow out. In fact, I saw Ron Barfield duck into the pits real quick. So did the 50 of Greg Biffle, and there's the reason Barfield's got the right corner bent up.
Can you say contact?
Very much so. I think we're going to see some pit stops at lap number 122 here at the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Don't go anywhere. We got a lot of racing yet to come.
Sprague, he overshot his pits. They changed the right side tires, but he had to put the truck in reverse, pull it back into his pits, and by the time he left, there was no one else here.
Well, the big thing is that the number 16 got out of pit lane first, so Ron Hornaday, and remember, he stopped the first yellow. This is our second caution of the day, so he has still got the fresher tires because everybody else changed right sides. He's changed the left. And we may get a chance to show you what happened to Sprague here as they're coming to a stop. He's the number 3 pit stall.
And he should be right behind Harvick there. He realizes he's gone by it, and now he's going to put the truck in reverse and back up. And he thinks, well, I should back it straight in, but I can't do that, so I'm going to have to nose it in.
Didn't you have to do this for your driver's test?
And he loses a ton of time.
I'll tell you what, they're kicking themselves right now because Sprague is 13th, the last truck on the lead lap. You can see the battle scars that are on the 24. And before this race is over, not one truck's going to come back looking like it went out of here.
And the 2 truck that came in 6th is now up in 2nd position.
And we haven't had a chance to talk much about Mike Wallace today. He's been sort of quiet, been in that territory in the top 10 to 15 positions. There we're on board with Mike Wallace in the Ultra Motorsports Team ASC Ford. There's the reason we are under caution. Boy, it looks like they have had to change the rotor and everything.
Oh, they've changed that whole upright and the brake rotor.
Barfield, and they're going to have to take it behind the wall to do some more work. See if we can see what happens. Maybe it looked like maybe he cut a tire and then tagged the wall. Yeah, here it comes. Yeah, that tire's down.
And that's our speed shot coming out of turn 2. So it looks like he cut a tire.
So they have got him behind the wall, and they're going to have to go underneath and do some more repair work on the Ice House Ford. So a tough break for Ron Barfield. Had his best career finish just last week, 3rd at Evergreen. It's not going to happen again today. Right now, the top 3, Ron Hornaday, there you see him, our race leader. The number 2 of Mike Wallace, Stacy Compton in 3rd. As we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing, let's round out the top 5 for you. Harvick is 4th, and the number 1 of Dennis Setzer is 5th. Now you can't accelerate before you get to the white line you're about to see in turn 4 right there.
Green. Go, go, go.
The master of the restart is Ron Hornaday. And we're back to green flag racing. Lap number 129.
So Hornaday took those left side tires, but all of these other guys on the lead lap have fresh right side tires.
Hornaday loves to put that left side off the edge of the pavement into the dirt. Helps him get around the racetrack a lot quicker. Mike Wallace right behind him. Rick Crawford is lap traffic there. Stacy Compton, the 86, the 4th tripping line, is really in 3rd.
A lot of battle scars on the right side of Hornaday's truck.
Move a little bit further back. There's Dennis Setzer. Jimmy Hensley. He's currently running in 6th. We go on board with Andy Houston.
31's the position.
We're listening into Andy Houston's radio. Jimmy Hensley wants to get around Houston. There's Stefanik. He's also a lap down. In fact, the number 6 of Rick Corelli is trying to chase down the 43 of Jimmy Hensley. That's the battle for position on the racetrack as far as 7th place is concerned. 7th and 6th. Talk about traffic. These guys, side by side. Ron Barfield has climbed out of the Ice House Beer Ford. And Dave, you're with him?
Marty, he's hoping he can get back in. Ron, looks like it took you by surprise. What happened?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, this ice house before was running good. And, you know, we were just kind of biding our time. They're trying to get around the lap cars, and all of a sudden just something broke in the right front. I don't know whether a tire went down or a hub broke or something, but it just took a hard right up into the wall. And like I say, the guys working hard, and you know, we get a little bit of a deficit here. We'll go get on Martinsville.
All right, Marty, and they're going to replace the whole right front hub assembly just to be sure.
So a tough day for the Ice House gang. That's the great thing about having a beer sponsor. At least you can drown your sorrows when the day is over.
Well, they did have a great race up at Evergreen, and they've been quick all season. They really just didn't get a handle on the truck down here. Didn't qualify that well.
Taking a look at the battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Harvick is 3rd. The number 1 of Setzer is 4th, and Stacy Compton is in 5th. We're on board with Setzer. While we're watching this action, let me point out, Greg Biffle pitted just as the yellow came out. He's now 2 laps down in 23rd spot.
Well, we knew he was desperate to get some tires on that truck, but that's not the way you want to have to do it. And once you've committed to pit lane, you might as well go there and get your tires.
Compton trying to get around the lapped vehicle of Rick Crawford. Crawford in 14th. He is the first of several trucks 1 lap down. Back with Dennis Setzer. There's the serial. He's not led a lap yet today, but he has been in that top 5 battle since the get-go. Steady, slowly working his way through the field, making it all count.
Stay on that lead lap. Stay in touch with what guys are doing. Make sure you've got the truck working as well as it can work, and then make the run.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that pit strategy. Remember the first yellow of all the race leaders, only Hornaday was the one who came in. He changed tires on the right side. Then this last stop, he was able to change lefts while everybody else had to change the right. So he, in essence, has fresher tires, and he's leading by over 3/4 of a second.
But right now, he's not the fastest truck on the racetrack. That is the 98 truck.
That is Jack Sprague going around Jay Sauter. Sprague in 11th. Sauter is 10th, so he's now taken the position. So Sprague's moved up a spot. That pit stop was extremely costly. He was back to 13th. Remember, he was the last truck on the lead lap. So he's now picked up 3 of those positions.
But this is all happening about 8 seconds behind Ron Hornaday.
Oh, and the Spear Chevrolet, Lonnie Rush has got a problem as he brings it in as that right front is flat. Wayne Spears here in Bakersfield has been working with this track for over a dozen years as we take a look at our race leader. Tough break for Wayne Spears' team, but they'll get it back out. Your race leader is Ron Hornaday. No surprise there at the Craftsman Truck Series Round 4. 300, great crowd on hand here today. And next week, actually a week from tomorrow, let's make it real clear, the Toyota Motegi, the 2nd time in a row he's done that. It'll be a week from Sunday, 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific on ABC Sports, the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Andy Houston is making a green flag stop. He is already a lap down. In fact, he's 2 laps down, and it's going to be 3 or more by the time they get that right side rubber changed.
Yeah, these green flag stops will really kill you here.
Back out underway. 35-mile-an-hour pit lane speed. Listening to Andy Houston's radio, just in case the team says anything.
Halfway. Truck ideal. He's a lead lap truck.
You heard the spotter say halfway. Well, that means it's time for the Gatorade bonus money. Whoa, where is Mike Wallace going? Right around Andy Houston. Mike Wallace currently running in 4th. Guess who picked up the $1,000 like he needed after winning $100 grand last week? Ron Hornaday is our race leader, and he's got the Gatorade halfway money. Dave Burns, you got something on Andy Houston?
Marty, Andy Houston was just flat out of tires. There was nothing left on the right side, and so they had to change them. We're going to check and see if they changed left sides on their first pit stop, because after all, they had gone over 120 laps.
All right, we're back to the race lead. Just to let you know, Andy Houston is now 3 laps down in 23rd. Ron Hornaday has got about a 0.8 of a second lead over the 98 of Kevin Harvick. In fact, Harvick's now trying to close it down. Saw a glimpse of it there in the quarter cable Ford.
And Harvick has been quicker on open racetrack, but in traffic, look at this. Hornaday really getting held up here, coming out of 4 by a couple of lap trucks.
Clear.
That was not a battle for position. We were listening on Ron Hornaday's radio. Both the not Roper, but the 27 and the 73 are multi-laps down, but Hornaday managed to get through. Harvick also had a bit of a struggle trying to get past the 27 of Ernie Cope and the 73 of David Starr. Harvick is closing in. Let's take a look at our Dodge race recap. Ron Hornaday has led 59 of 154 laps. We've had 9 lead changes. Remember, last year we had 16 here. And there's Ron Hornaday going around Bill Sedgwick. We've had 2 cautions, and boy, I got to tell you, most of the times we've had a lot more than that. In fact, the record is 14 back in 1996, and our average speed right now is a new race record if we can hold on to it at 81.9 miles an hour. And here comes Kevin Harvick.
And look at this. Hornaday now. I mean, this is just constant. This traffic is just constant. You really have to manage it. But look at Harvick. Got a good runoff too here.
Down the back straightaway, he'll hook that bottom line, yeah, and Hornaday's starting to push up a little bit. Now remember, Hornaday's on those right sides that we changed way back at lap 43.
Right, this is when those right side tires now are going to start to hurt Ron Hornaday. He's done a great job to lead as many laps as he has.
The 52 of Scott Hansen gives way. Harvick not able to complete the pass yet. Hornaday's radio. The spotter telling him he's clear. We're working lap number 160 of 300.
And the first time Kevin Harvick took his truck into the lead, everyone in the grandstand was on their feet. And no doubt they'll be on their feet again if he can push this truck past Ron Hornaday.
Oh, this place will erupt if Harvick wins this race. And actually, Hornaday, this is a home track for him. I mean, he used to live in Palmdale, not that far from here. He has about 100 family and friends of his own. Now we got
this.
That is Cook and the 90 of Norick, and this is really going to create havoc. A little biff from the back, and that's going to allow
Hornaday gets blocked up there.
That's going to allow Harvick to get underneath him, but now you still got Cook to deal with in the 88. They're side by side coming down the front straightaway. Hornaday still holds on to the lead. You wonder why he's a 2-time champion. Here he goes. He gets the outside line around Terry Cook. He's going to force the issue with Terry, and he keeps leading.
That is why Ron Hornaday is a 2-time truck champion. A lot of determination there to not give up that lead and work his way through that traffic.
Kevin Harvick's got to be wondering, what I got to do to pass this guy. Amy East, you got the answer?
It's hard to have the answer because Kevin has not talked on the radio for the last 100 laps. He's just sitting in there driving. They seem to feel with a smile on his face. He knows about disciplining that throttle at this track. He's biding his time. He thinks he could win this.
So, Amy, they do have radio communication. They don't have a faulty radio?
That's correct, Marty. No faulty radio. Kevin's just concentrating and not talking. So that's all I can tell you from down the Porter Cable Racing bin.
Well, that's interesting. Were you much of a talker on the radio?
Never been much of a talker on the radio. Just, tell me what I need to know, and I'll get the job done. It sounds like Kevin Harvick is that kind of guy. Now, he's got a lot of experience at this racetrack, so he knows, like Amy said, he knows what he needs to do to win races here because he's won a lot of races here at Mesa Marin.
Well, Harvick's best truck finish, well, that came back in June of '98 at Texas Motor Speedway. We're going to have to take a break, but don't go anywhere as we have got a great battle for the lead going on here at the Dodge California Truck Stop 300. Ron Hornaday in front of Kevin Harvick. 4 at Mesa Marin Raceway, and 2 guys are trying to make it their own private party. Ron Hornaday and Kevin Harvick. They've got about a 3-second lead over 3rd place, and believe it or not, with 126 of 300 laps to go, we only have 9 trucks on the lead lap.
And that is remarkable. That tells you a lot about how hard these guys are running, and just the pace of this race has been just ferocious.
Well, the other thing is the number of cautions we've only had.
Look at this.
2.
Look at this.
On the outside,
Harvick gets it down on the inside, and now he's got the truck inside him. Can he keep it there? Can he get off
All
two?
clear behind him if you need it.
Side by side down the back stretch. We're listening to Hornaday's radio. Through turn 3 and 4. Who's going to have it at the line? It'll be Hornaday.
Still there.
I didn't hear what Ron said there. Going back down into 3.
Don't crowd me. Tell him, do not crowd me.
That was Hornaday telling Harvick, tell these guys not to crowd me. I think he's talking about the last lap down the backstretch. Coming off right here. Watch what happens.
And Harvick did lead that last lap. Not by much, but he did lead that lap. Ron Hornaday is determined to lead the most laps. He's not going to give up that lead.
They want all the bonus points that they can grab. Shane Jones made that very clear yesterday. And right now, he's got the lead, and he does have the most race laps led in this event if it ended right now, but we still got 122 to go. You heard him talking about playing a little tag. We're moving back to Wars. There's Dennis Setzer. He is currently running in 3rd. Gives you an idea how far back the margin is now. It's about 4 seconds between 1st and 2nd back to 3rd. Now, we also saw some smoke from that truck right there, Mike Bliss.
He's been smoking for about 30 laps now.
Amy, can you update for us?
I wish I had a lot of information to tell you guys, but crew chief Matt Chambers is a bit baffled himself. Although several times the NASCAR Craftsman truck official has come over and said that other trucks are indeed complaining about Mike Bliss's smoke. They're thinking in the next 2 to 3 laps, if there's not an improvement, Mike Bliss will have to stop and get that tire changed.
Back to the battle up front. Hornaday's opened a little bit more room between he and Kevin Harvick. You know, Bliss has done very well here, just to put a period on his story. You know, last year he led 158 laps, but then he spun it when the tires wore out on him and then finished 19th. So we have seen that scenario happen here before. And these two guys are really putting a tremendous pace out there. And in fact, let's get an update on Kevin Harvick from Dave Burns.
Marty, he finally cued the mic and radioed in. He said, boys, I'm going to play a little tag with Ron Hornaday.
Oh, so that was Kevin we heard. I thought it was Hornaday. Greg Biffle is into pit lane. He is 5 laps down in 23rd after qualifying 2nd. What a frustrating day.
Man, after starting on the front row, to be sitting back in 23rd, 5 laps down.
They're going to change right side rubber. Amy, this is going to cost them a lot of ground.
Their pit strategy all day has just been off. They're changing the right sides. They're going to make some chassis adjustments here. And, you know, he went 2 laps down because he didn't pit the way Hornaday did earlier. They thought they would be losing track position. Instead, they have lost all kinds of track position today. So they've decided they're going to take now left side tires and just hope for the best.
Well, remember, under Craftsman Truck Series rules, you can take 4 tires under green, and we've got a yellow out. This is our 3rd yellow, and as we get a replay here, you'll see what happened to Greg Biffle. That's Scott Hansen right behind him, gets a little tap from him. Oh, he holds on. But he came into pit lane. I don't think that was the cause of the yellow.
No, that was not the cause of the yellow. That was Greg Biffle getting a little shot from behind, but we've got some debris down in turn 1, so that is the reason for this full course yellow.
Well, that is going to come here on lap number 186 of 300. So Ron Hornaday is your leader. Kevin Harvick in 2nd. Dennis Setzer in 3rd. It's going to tighten everything up. The Napa crew planning some strategy. Stay with us.
16 truck of Ron Hornaday took on right sides. No adjustments. He said the truck was great. Same for Kevin Harvick. Right sides again. And both of those guys have had a lot of laps on the left side tires too, guys.
Well, the guy that's amazing me right now is the 16 of Ron Hornaday. By my calculations, he did 143 laps on those right side tires, and he still maintained the lead.
Yeah, that is amazing, that how good that truck was on those tires. And now, these guys are going to have a real hard time with Ron Hornaday after he just took on fresh right side tires.
Now Kevin Harvick and just about everybody else that we've been able to verify has taken on left side tires because that was their rotation. Remember, Hornaday stopped one extra time. Here comes Mike Bliss. Obviously they have been working on trying to get that smoke situation taken care of, and he gets back out. Amy, you got an update?
Marty, you were right. They did take on left side tires, but they're not 100% sure that it was tire rub smoke that we were seeing. Mike Bliss is complaining of maybe some rear end trouble, and some smoke can definitely be generated out of the rear end because there is a gear loop back there that if it gets hot and we get a little smoke, that might be what the problem is. They're going to inspect the tires and they'll let us know.
Well, that didn't look like any kind of tire rubbing when we saw the truck on the racetrack. There's Butch Miller now waiting for the field to come by before he can get back out on the racetrack. It looked like it was that smoke was coming from under the truck of Mike Bliss, not from the tires.
You're looking at the 18 there, Butch Miller. He is the last truck on the lead lap. He is in 9th position. And that's it. I mean, we've only had 3 cautions here, so that's why so many guys have been put a lap down. Now, Miller, he's had some mixed results here. In fact, last year he started 28th but finished 7th. And he made a 2nd stop under the caution, so he has taken advantage of some strategy there. No laps lost. He'll get to move to the back of the lead lap line. And I got to tell you, the lapped vehicle line is a lot longer right now.
Well, only 9 trucks on the lead lap at this point.
Let's reset it for you. After the pit stops, it's Ron Hornaday up front. Dennis Setzer has moved into 2nd. Great pit crew for them. The 98 of Kevin Harvick is 3rd. Then it's Mike Wallace in 4th. And 86, Stacy Compton in 5th. And we're back to green. Biffle is lap traffic. He's in 24th spot right now, 7 laps down. We go on board with Mike Wallace. Now Wallace currently running in 4th. That is right behind him. Whoa, look at that, Biff. He just got into the back bumper.
There's a little wave.
Kevin Harvick.
Harvick gives him a little wave. Cut me a break.
Harvick loves that low line here at Mesa Marin. Here comes Mike Wallace on the outside. Can he make it stick? He's going to have to stay up high going through 1 and 2.
And Mike Wallace has not done a lot of competitive passing today. He's done most of his passing in the pit lane. And so this might be a sign of things to come if this truck's actually running that much better.
Right now, Wallace has taken over 3rd. He's about 2 seconds behind the race leader. That's Ron Hornaday. This is the best battle we've got going on the racetrack right now. Hornaday's got a half a second on the number 1 of Dennis Setzer.
And Harvick was 2nd when they went to the pits. He came out in 3rd. He's now lost 1 more position to Mike Wallace, now back in 4th.
Sun is going to begin to play a real big factor going down the back straightaway. Now Setzer is reeling in Ron Hornaday. Dennis Setzer won last year right here. Really made a name for himself, won himself a job, in fact, with that performance. And right now it looks like he's trying to make it 2 times in a row.
And look at this Hornaday up high, Setzer alongside.
Remember, Hornaday took right side tires, Setzer took lefts. So Setzer's right side tires are a little bit more worn. We're getting close to lap number 200. We've got 102 to go right now. Able to control the position. Let's take a look at the Napa Field summary. As the points right now, it's Compton in 2nd, Wallace, Sprague, and Houston. Look at Setzer. If he holds on to this position, he would pick up 6 positions and move into the top 10. Who else is making a big move? Well, look at Kevin Harvick, 14th spot. Remember, he had 2 dismal races before finishing 9th last time out. Here comes Setzer inside of the 16 of Ron Hornaday.
And of course, Biffle has rolled up behind these guys. Biffle is 7 laps down.
Side by side, we have reached the 2/3 mark. We're working lap number 201 of 300.
And this is as close as Setzer has been. He just can't seem to get the drive off turn 4 to get by Hornaday into one.
Setzer has not led this race yet today, but he's put himself into a great position here in the last third. You can see that sun glare as we're going through the corner. Really going to play havoc with these guys. Hornaday holds on to the position. Setzer says, no, I think I'm going to stay right behind you.
And we talked about how the racetrack would become more drivable up high later in the race, and it looks like Ron Hornaday is making that work for him right now. He'd prefer to be down low down there, but if he has to run a little higher, he can make it work.
Ooh, little wiggle there. He almost hit the wall. Take a look at some Dodge history here. The first win at I-70 back in '97. The last one, well, guess what? By that guy you're looking at right there. What is, oh, we got a big crash. The yellow is out. That's Lonnie Rush, who has spun it around. Can't tell if anybody else got into him. A little bit of damage to the number 75 Spear Chevy. Easy, Lonnie. Don't come out too far. You'll spin it around again. He'll make it safely back to pit lane. We'll take a break and come back to the Dodge California Truck Stop 3. Back at the Dodge California Truck Stop 300, round 4 of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Our 4th yellow of the day. Your race leader after the pit stops right there, Ron Hornaday. He put left sides on, and Mike Wallace, his pit crew, did another fine job. He has picked up a spot in pit lane, moving himself into 2nd. Stacy Compton is 3rd. Dennis Setzer drops back to 4th. Harvick drops to 5th. Let's get an update from Dave Burns on the 2-truck.
Marty standing by with Tim Cahuth, crew chief for the 2. You guys have been picking up positions all day. How have you been ripping off these great pit stops?
Well, we spent a lot of time this winter, me and the boys, and we just a lot of practice, and these ASE guys, they're awesome. We look forward to cautions. We pick up spots every time, just try to make it a little easier for Mike, so hopefully we're in good shape the rest of the day.
Did you make adjustments on him this time? You changed right sides.
All we did was put tires on. We should be done for the day. It's up to Mikey.
Okay, same change for Dennis Setzer in the 1 truck. They put on right side tires and no changes to Setzer.
When it's done,
east.
Jimmy Hensley had left front tire red before that yellow, so they were really happy to see that yellow flag come out. Fred Wanke had the crew members pull the sheet metal aside, and now they've come back in to make the chassis adjustment that they needed to actually make on a regular yellow pit stop, but they had to get that left front tire rub taken care of first and try not to lose a lot of track position.
Well, it's going to drop him back to 9th. Take a look at the summary here, and you can see that Setzer drops 2 positions. Harvick dropped 1. Compton went in 5th, came out 3rd. Here we go. We're back to green flag racing on lap number 2:09. Greg Biffle, remember, is 6 laps down right now. He stayed out. Your race leader is the 16th.
And that's Harvick.
There's Harvick.
That's position on Setzer. This is on board with Compton.
Stacy is right now shown in 3rd. Harvick given the 4th spot. Setzer 5th, but they're all right there in the log jam. There's a little biff from Harvick saying, Stacy, come on.
And that is Jack Sprague showing his nose in behind Harvick there.
Setzer on the high side, trying to hold on. Can he make it stick? We got lap traffic coming up in front of Compton. That's the 75 that was involved in the last caution. Lonnie Rush.
And look at these 2 Dodge trucks trying to push each other along. But Harvick has got it glued down low.
Harvick side by side. Look out. Things are getting a little physical. Guys, remember, we still got about, what, 70-some plus laps to go? They're battling out like there's it's green-white checker.
Absolutely. And now Harvick has really now made that pass. And these guys continuing to run side by side. There's Sprague up inside Compton.
And we've got 87 to go. So still plenty of time to burn off your tires if you push it too far too soon. 24, Jack Sprague. He's going around Stacy Compton. Ron Hornaday has picked up a 1.3-second lead as we have been watching all of this battle going on. He is now at 1.5 over the number 2 of Mike Wallace. So Hornaday, with those fresh tires, fresher than everybody else is out there, is out front here at Mesa Marin. Back at Mesa Marin Raceway, you're looking out the back of third place Dennis Setzer as we get ready for tomorrow on RPM Today on ESPN2. We'll have a Winston Cup preview, highlights of what happened here, and also at Motegi at the kart race. That's noon Eastern, 9 Pacific tomorrow. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.
Now out in front of these guys, look at that battle for the lead. Harvick lost that position on the pit stop, but now up to second behind Hornaday, and he's closed that gap down. It's only about a tenth of a second now. It was about 2 seconds.
And Setzer's right there in the mix as well. You're looking at first, second, and third, and they've got lap traffic in front of them.
And that's Sprague only a few truck lengths back from Setzer.
Let's go down to pit lane. Dave Burns has more on Dennis Setzer.
Dennis Setzer's carrying a mascot today, guys. There's a little figure riding along with him, an Oreo man that was picked up here last year when an 8-year-old girl presented it to the driver, Dennis Setzer, right before he won here at Bakersfield. They've carried him around everywhere, and they made sure he was on board today.
So far, the Oreo man's doing all right for him. He's in third. He gets around Augie Vidovich safely.
And this traffic's really hurt these two. Able to do a better job through traffic.
That was Ryan McGlynn in the double O that Setzer gets by. He is still right behind Harvick, but there you saw the quick streak of the blue 16, and you're right, the margin has opened up to about 3/4 of a second. Jack Sprague is also moving closer to this battle. In fact, he is now on the back bumper of Dennis Setzer. That's the 24 radio. A lot of breakup. I wonder if they even understand what's going on. Jack Sprague has never won here at Mesa Marin. Finished second last year after starting 10th, but he does hold one distinction. He has completed every single lap of every race ever held here.
And again, that's why Jack Sprague has won the Craftsman Truck Championship.
We're looking on board now with Mike Wallace. He is currently running in 5th position. He's dropped back after that great pit stop from second.
And he has had great pit stops all day from this team.
That is Augie Vidovich right in front of him. Augie is 115 laps down. They had problems earlier. He's back out trying to keep that truck running. Behind the number 2, well, it's going to be the 86 streaking through the shot there. That was Stacy Compton. He's running in 6th. There's the margin. He's now got to deal with Augie. And also Ernie Cope in the 27. Compton started on the pole, his 3rd career pole.
Clear all around.
That's Stacy's radio we're listening to.
Clear all around.
Not for long.
Going back to Jimmy Hensley, who's in 7th. He's 6.5 seconds behind the race lead, but a good steady run for Jimmy. In fact, talked to him before. He's 20th in points, and I said, are you disappointed? He says, no, because we've had good trucks, we've run well, we've just had some bad breaks. Maybe today that luck may change. And there is Rick Corelli. Boy, he had a dismal qualifying, 26th. He's currently running 8th. This would be a great comeback for this team.
He set a lap in practice that would have put him. Look at that fire under there. Boy, he set a lap in practice that would put him 3rd on the grid. Corelli did.
We saw Butch Miller, who is currently running 9th, and then 1 lap down in 10th is Jay Sauter. Whoa, little contact there with Rick Crawford. Crawford's got a problem. Looks like he's trying to slow and get over, and nobody's going to let him over, and he's got to get to pit lane.
Well, Sauter just picked up a position on Miller, who got caught out there by Rick Crawford.
Crawford stays out, but he's well off the pace, and he's got smoke coming out of the back of the 14 Circle Bar Motel and RV. Don't tell if it's smoke from the tire or not. So Crawford's got some smoke in the cockpit from a radio report that we have. And it looks like, yes, he is slowing. In fact, he's just been lapped again by our race leader. Yes, Crawford is in pit lane, and Ron Hornaday is still your leader. Back after this. We are under our 5th caution of the day here on lap number 243. That has got to be hot, guys. Be careful. We don't know who it came off of. That's the worst part.
I'll tell you what, that is hot, because that is an exhaust system that dropped off the bottom of one of these trucks. And he's picked it up. It's like, yeah, just run it over here.
I think I would have kicked it instead of trying to pick it up. Take a look, and you can see there it is. Oh, and look at that. Rob Morgan runs right over it. Now it's a piece of flying shrapnel.
Oh, man. That could have been deadly.
So our 5th caution of the day, and the question is, will anybody stop? Pit lane has not been opened yet. Good work, guys. I hope you didn't burn your hands too badly. It looks like they're checking them. Pit lane is now open, so we'll find out. We're on board with Stacy Compton. And we're waiting to see who's going to come into pit lane. Let's go to Amy with David Hodson, owner of Stacy's truck.
Not only is the owner of Stacy Compton's truck, but he also owns Randy Tolsma's and the Impact Motorsports duo there. David, you have to be pleased with your performances this year. So far, your both trucks have gotten off to great starts.
Yeah, I'm very pleased. I can't be more excited. Switching to Dodge, switching space or shops, and starting the second team. We've had a tremendous start the first 4 races. They're doing well today.
All right, well, good luck to you today, David.
Thank you.
All right, over to you, Dave.
Jack Sprague is in the pits, Amy. They're going to change left side tires. Look at the rear tire changer. That is Dennis Conner, the crew chief. He comes over the wall this weekend to help out their effort, and he does a great job and gets Jack out of here.
Interesting. This is going to be interesting because we are working lap number 245, and Sprague was one of the trucks that did come in for a pit stop.
Hornaday stayed out. Harvick stayed out. Setzer stayed out.
So that's going to give us a chance to take one more break before we go back to green flag racing. Ron Hornaday is your race leader. Harvick is second. In pit lane. Dave Burns, you've got more.
Well, they had that great pit stop, Marty, but when he got to the end of pit road and the blend line, he did not heed the stop sign. They were holding him there. He went right through it, and as you said, they sent him to the tail end of the longest line.
Oh, man, and that is a long, long line because you can see how far it is all the way back. The lap vehicle's on the right side of your screen. We restart lap 249.
Now, we heard from Hornaday's team that he's had a loose condition that's developed on his truck. And so we expect Kevin Harvick to be putting a lot of pressure on Ron Hornaday up front.
Hey, guys, we're 3 wide here. You can't do that at Mesa Marin. Hold on. Man, Mike Wallace, that's a gutsy move. Wallace gets around all that traffic, maintains his 5th position. Let's set it for you as we go on board with Mike. It's Hornaday, Harvick in 2nd, Setzer 3rd, Compton in 4th, and then you're on board with 5th place, Mike Wallace. Now we're with Andy Houston, back with Mike Wallace. That's Jimmy Hensley. And Hensley is in 6th position. Rick Corelli is 7th. Butch Miller is 8th. 9th is Jack Sprague. That's the 9 trucks that are on the lead lap. But Sprague's chances are really going to be hurt. Here he comes flying through as he is trying to get around. Oh, he got a crash coming around in turn 4.
Caution's out. Caution's out.
Well, that's a big break for Jack Sprague.
Now I can go back to the lead.
There you go. Now I can go back on the lead lap.
Yep, you heard him say it. And the bad break for the 18 of Butch Miller. If he can get back out and get around, he will be able to stay on the lead lap. Yes, he will. So he'll move back to the 9th position. But how badly did he flat spot those tires? Oh, it looks like somebody got into him. Look at the damage on the left rear quarter.
Someone definitely got into Butch Miller.
Looks like we may get another chance to take a look at it, Jeremy.
Well, a lot of traffic up here in turn 4. And there it is, the 3 truck of Jay Sauter gives him a little tap coming off 4, and he gets another little tap there.
Now that's Scott Hansen that got into him, and also Lance Norrick's got damage to his left front quarter panel. And Tim Berman has lost his caution flag. the starter, that is the yellow caution flag, and Timmy's going to run down and get it now. He has just come off his starter's position. And that is not the first time it has happened in history. There's Tim off to the left there. Now, hopefully the guys won't run over it. We'll keep you posted on poor Tim. He's going to go retrieve his flag. And Butch Miller is going to stay out in 9th position. They're all chasing Ron Hornaday here at Mesa Marin. Stay with us. We're back at Mesa Marin, but next week we go to Martinsville. And Friday on ESPN2, we've got Bud Pole qualifying at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. Then on Saturday, our truck series, it'll be at the Napa 250, 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 o'clock Pacific. And then Happy Hour follows us on the Deuce at 5:30 Eastern. And then after that, well, on ESPN2, NASCAR Today at 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific. And then it's the Goodies Body Paint 500 at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on ESPN. And then RPM tonight at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. And that's next Sunday. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, GoTalk.co.com. It's easy for me to say. We've talked about tire management. Look at what it has done. Those are tires.
Well, those are tires, lots of them. And that is all the rubber that's come off those tires, and that's up near the wall at turn 4 as we come down for green.
We've completed lap number 257, the end of our 5th caution period of the day. Ron Hornaday has reported that his truck is loose. Kevin Harvick has told Amy East that it's 3 laps before his tires come in. And right now it's showing because he's dropped off a little bit behind the lead truck of Ron Hornaday. There's Dennis Setzer, the number 1. He is in 3rd. On board with Setzer. Got some black vehicles in front of him now. That's Stacy Compton in the 86 right behind him. The 2 of Mike Wallace and the 43 of Jimmy Hensley. That's all for positions here in the top 6 spots.
Now that 25 truck, that is Tolsma. He sits a lap down in 11th.
I'm sure Stacy Compton would say, hey, Randy, help me, our old buddy, your teammate here. Here comes Hensley on the inside. And look at Wallace as we go on board with him. And that's Jimmy Hensley. Hensley is the Dodge meat in this sandwich. Meanwhile, as this is going on, Hornaday has opened up a 3/4 of a second lead over Harvick. We're going to keep our eye on this. This is good. Compton doing all he can. He's drifting up. He's high. Hensley, can he get underneath him? Jimmy, they're going to touch. Heading down into turn number 1. Compton trying to hold on to the spot. That's for 4th. There's Jack Sprague. That yellow really helped him. Oh, we got a spinner in 4. So we may have another yellow flag. Yes, it is out. Look out, guys. They're going to be coming around. And there is Ryan McGlynn, the reason for our 6th yellow of the day. Ron Hornaday does not need this. He had opened up a little bit of a lead.
Well, we had talked to Harvick's crew chief, and Harvick had rated in and said, listen, guys, it takes 3 laps for me to get enough temperature. Once I get that temperature in the tires and they start working properly, I can race with Ron Hornaday. I can go out and take the race lead. So really, it's Harvick that didn't want to see this yellow. He wants green flag racing.
McGlynn was all alone. Just a lazy looper. Did not hit the wall. He's going to be able to stay out. This should not be a very long yellow. Let's reset it for you. It's Ron Hornaday in 1st. There's 2nd place. You're looking at the 98 of Kevin Harvick. 3rd place is Dennis Setzer. 4th is the 86 of Stacy Compton. 5th is Jimmy Hensley. Let's go down to pit lane as Dave Burns has caught up with Roland Melodica.
That's right. We're standing right here. And Roland, you have a pretty hot driver out there who knows this place pretty well, but he's got Hornaday in front of him. How in the world does he get around him?
He's a good driver. We got a good track. We need about a 15-lap run, and then we're going to be faster.
Do you think the tires and the whole truck is going to come in about 15 laps?
Hornaday's better on the short runs, and we get a 15-lap run. We'll be with him.
All right. And Roland knows this business pretty well, guys. Watch out.
And the truck's name is Bully. And it's made for the short tracks, the bull rings. And he may have to be a little bit of a bully to get by Ron Hornaday.
And he'd love to have that first Ford win here at Mesa Marin.
The last driver to win 3 consecutive races, well, guess who? The driver of the Napa Chevrolet. Ron Hornaday did it in 1997. The only other guy to do it was Mike Skinner.
Comes the 31.
You're listening to Ron Hornaday's radio. Kevin Sawinski in the Auto Trim Design Ford alongside. He is 1 lap down in 10th spot. Kevin doing well with another top 10 run, but I don't know if he's got enough horsepower to get around Ron Hornaday to get back on the lead lap. Getting ready to go back to green flag racing.
Race truck's off. Get ready, Jack.
We're listening on the radio.
Watch your outside. Get ready. Get ready. Go, go, go. Clear low.
Hornaday gets the drop again. We're back to green flag racing, working lap 266.
I'll tell you, that's the best restart we've seen. Kevin Harvick, he's very much in touch with Ron Hornaday on that restart.
Man, I thought Mike Wallace scraped the wall. I thought he was going to take our speed shot camera right along with him. Hornaday reported that loose condition. Harvick says I need 3 laps to get the tires warm. Setzer, Compton, the 43 of Hensley, and the 2 of Mike Wallace. They're all battling for position. And don't forget about Jack Sprague in 7th. In fact, here he comes. He's outside on the left there. The 66 is Mike Stefanik. He is 2 laps down in 14th. Side racing. You want to talk about some great short track racing? The 2 Dodges going after each other right here. Both of them from Virginia, in fact.
And we've got 3 Dodges, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So the Dodges having a great day here.
In fact, it is a Chevrolet up front, a Ford in 2nd, then the Dodge contingent. And Ford has never won a race here at Mesa Marin. Back on board with Ford's best chance, Mike Wallace. Wallace will get a report, just had some contact with a lap vehicle. Doesn't look like it's slowing him down any. Here we get the different view. Oh, Sprague a little loose. In fact, Sprague's under attack from Corelli. That's 4th position. Corelli trying to take 7th place.
Rick Corelli has had a great day.
Clear inside.
And look at that.
Started 26th. He's now in 7th. What a comeback for the Remax Chevrolet team. They were so disappointed after practice, or after qualifying, because in practice they were the quickest at one point. Now he's going after Mike Wallace.
Well, you see how loose Mike Wallace got there, down low in turn 3.
And Corelli says, I'll just do it on the outside. He is moving that truck everywhere on the racetrack. This time by at the line, we'll find out who the quickest really are as the laps are winding down. We're coming up working lap number 273.
And look at that, Harvick, the quickest.
Well, remember he said the more laps that we go, the longer the run, the better his truck is going to be. A lot of activity going on behind him. There's the number 2 of Mike Wallace. He's under attack right now from the 24 of Jack Sprague. Here we go again at the line. Harvick. No, the number 6 of Rick Corelli is your fastest truck.
And that is not a big surprise. He passed 2 trucks on that last lap, Sprague and Wallace.
And notice the speeds. Remember the last time we saw at the line, we were talking about 90-mile-an-hour ranges. Now the speeds are up in the 93 range.
And look at this. He's going up to get Jimmy Hensley.
Corelli definitely has the best truck on the track right now, because he have enough laps. Next time by, it'll be lap number 275, 25 to go. He's gotten around Hensley, so that puts him into 5th. Sprague's gotten by Mike Wallace. That's going to move him up a spot as well. Puts him into 7th. We'll let you know while all this is going on, and you're looking at Compton, the next victim for Rick Corelli. The lead is a half a second. Ron Hornaday over Kevin Harvick.
But look at that, Corelli, 93, more than 93 miles an hour. That is incredible.
He is eating up racetrack at Mesa Marin, and he's about to eat up Stacy Compton. Look at, he is just running the bottom rail. Compton, though, holding on, pushing it for all he's worth. Side by side into turn 3, hooks those tires. Corelli not able to finish the job. Both these guys cooking a lot of rubber trying to make this pass stick. Corelli underneath, and this time he'll finally get to close the door on the 86 of Stacy Compton.
But meanwhile, here's Harvick, and he's now closed that gap down.
So the battle for the race lead is starting to heat up. No matter where we point the cameras, we've always got somebody going after somebody else.
And that is a problem with Craftsman truck racing. You just can't cover everything that's going on the racetrack. There's too much good racing.
It's one of the reasons we're getting better and better crowds every place we go. This place is jammed here today at Mesa Marin. You can see all the crowd, and boy, do they want this battle to go on for a while. Remember, it was Hornaday who grew up in Palmdale, used to live there. That's not very far away, and Harvick is from Bakersfield. So the hometown fans win either way. They get around Ryan McGlynn. We got 21 laps to go. Hornaday, Harvick, nose to tail. It's another 2.5 seconds back to 3rd place Dennis Setzer.
2 seconds back to Rick Corelli, who continues to be the fastest truck on the racetrack.
20 laps to go. And Harvick is right on the back bumper. This is a Chevy Ford battle. Oh, and a nice little bobble by Hornaday.
Well, those rear tires, you talked about how that truck's getting loose, and it is definitely getting loose.
Hornaday's radio we're listening into.
Oh, man, if Hornaday can hang on to this, I just don't know how he's going to do it. That truck is just not looking very drivable at this stage. This is the battle for third, Rick Corelli.
Corelli's going around Dennis Setzer. Corelli, the fastest truck on the racetrack. The question is, does he have enough time? Let's get more from pit lane. David.
Marty, I just talked with Rodney Haygood, the crew chief for Rick Corelli. They have been saving the truck. Rick Corelli has something left.
Well, he's spinning it right now, and it's a good time to do it. We've got 18 laps to go, and Corelli is on a mission. He has moved to 30s, 1.3 seconds behind the race leader.
Well, we just saw the race leaders there in that shot. Continues to be the fastest truck on the racetrack.
There's the margin, first through third, and Harvick gives Hornaday a little tap from behind, saying, "I'm still here, buddy." Working lap 285. Be 15 to go next time by. Corelli is closing, but does he have enough time? Whoa, here we go. A little bit underneath, but Harvick backs out, and a nice little wave from Hornaday.
Yeah, nice little wave, as in, don't do that again. And there is Corelli, and that has cost them a lot of time. There's another bump. Corelli's got the big run out of 2 here, and Corelli up in the second.
Rick Corelli has just made a masterful move.
And he's going by. He is going to go by Hornaday. There's no question about it. That truck is so strong.
He is hooked up. Here's the interval, and you can see exactly how good Corelli's truck is. Man, he's got it glued to the bottom.
He is glued from 26th on the grid.
What a run for Rick Corelli here. The laps are winding down. Here we come by. We're complete. Lap number 287. 13 to go. Hornaday still holding on the lead, but how long? Here comes Corelli. Side by side down the back straightaway. Rick Corelli, the Remax Chevrolet, hooks that lower line. Harvick can only watch right now.
Traffic. Rob Morgan. Here he is, turn 1, and that works for Hornaday.
Hornaday, the master at being able to make you have to check up. Morgan did what he had to do, just held his race line.
And all that hard work that Rick Corelli done to get up alongside, he's going to have to do all that all over again.
He's got the truck to do it. Look at this, he's right back onto it. And this time by, we'll have 10 laps to go. They are side by side.
And you saw Corelli there. Gets a little loose coming off too, trying to get into that throttle as early as he can.
Now remember,
little tap there.
And he is loose. He said he was, and here comes Corelli, and Harvick's right behind him. Harvick's going to try and stay right with him to take second. Corelli has the race lead.
Look at
Harvick. The crowd is on their feet for the hometown hero.
And I think Ron Hornaday must be just out of tires. Here's Harvick on the inside. And now Corelli is having to drive that defensive line up high.
9 laps to go. Corelli has the race lead after starting all the way back in 26. Truck pushed up a little bit there in 2.
Well, you know he's run those tires as hard as he can. Yeah, they saved the truck, but they had to run it hard this last 25 laps, so you know he's run those tires very, very hard.
Corelli's first victory came back at Bristol in 1996. He won Gateway last year. This would be his 3rd career victory. Remember, he has run all 101 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series races. What a sweet victory this would be for Corelli.
And don't think for a moment that Ron Hornaday has given up here. He's going to do all he can. Really, he must just be struggling with that truck.
Lap traffic could play a factor here. Corelli's coming up on the 42 of Rick McRae. McRae in the Burn Care Chevrolet gives way. Corelli goes high. Harvick's going to follow him. Hornaday's going to try and go underneath. Here we go down the front straightaway. It's allowing Corelli to jump to a bigger lead. And look at Hornaday squeeze through.
Once again, he uses the traffic, and I don't know how he did that.
I think we're going to have to ask him, because I don't know how either. But he has moved back into second place. But the difference now, as we get back to the starting line, we'll get an idea of just how big the lead is. About a half a second.
Well, this is really helping Corelli now. These two battling. Compton rolling up behind them.
We've got a truck. Augie Vidovich is spun out in turn number 4.
And the yellow is out.
And the yellow's out. The one thing Kevin Harvick didn't want to see, remember his truck runs well on the long runs. I'm sure Rick Corelli didn't want to see it.
Well, I think really because the big reason for Corelli is that we know that Hornaday is so good on those restarts, and that really once he gets those tires cooled down a little bit, his truck is very good.
Remember, in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series racing, there is no caution flag finish. If we get to the point where we will be at lap number 299, we will still go a green, white, checkered, a 2-lap sprint for all the cash and the trophy. And Rick Corelli, no matter what happens, this team has got to be pumped, as they have come from 26 to lead this race, and they have managed this race so very well. Dave Burns is caught up with Rick Corelli's crew chief, Rodney Haygood.
And Rodney Haygood has his game face on. This thing isn't over yet, is it, Rodney?
Well, we saved it till the end, and it's really strong right now. We come in for left, so nobody else come in, and it made a world of difference on the Remax Chevrolet. I'll tell you that right now. Rick's driving his tail off. It's a fact.
What's he saying to you about holding off Hornaday?
I told him to pull his horns out.
All right, look for horns, chrome, flesh, whatever.
Well, the horns, remember, he lives in Colorado, the High Plains Drifter, and a sort of cowboy-type reference. This would be a good time to be riding that bucking Bronco.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're right, Marty. No matter what, this team has done a phenomenal job today to come from 26 on the grid on a racetrack that a lot of these drivers say is very difficult to pass on.
Well, let's set this for you. Rick Corelli is looking for his 3rd career victory in 101 starts. Kevin Harvick's looking for his first career victory ever in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Ron Hornaday is looking for his 3rd straight victory and 26th in 101 starts. The experience factor obviously goes to that man, the 16er Ron Hornaday, but we know that his truck is loose. The big question is, what kind of restart can Rick Corelli generate? Here we go. We'll be going green, white, and checkered at Mesa Marin. Corelli slowing him way down.
Right on. Let's be ready.
Corelli slowly, and they're back to green flag racing. Here we go. Corelli gets a good start. Harvick trying to tie up and get underneath Hornaday. Can't do it. Corelli pulls out about a truck length. That Remax Chevrolet is glued down the back straightaway. Hornaday going to take it deep.
I'll tell you, Hornaday's not done here. That truck is good on restarts.
White flag this time by. Can Rick Corelli pull it off?
Look at Hornaday off 4 with a big slide, and that has helped Rick Corelli. And look at the Dodge around the outside, Stacy Compton.
The High Plains Drifter, Rick Corelli, into turn 3 for the final time. It's his race to win.
Whoa, Hornaday, very high.
Tires have definitely gone away. It's going to be Corelli across the line, winning round 4. Harvick 2nd, Compton in 3rd.
Hornaday went into turn 3, 2nd, came out 4th. Look at Rick Corelli, phenomenal job.
Look at that crew as they are celebrating, and deservedly so. What an incredible team effort for Rick Corelli. Stay with us when we come back. I guarantee you this will be one happy High Plains Drifter in victory lane.
Hey, Mr. Science.
Craftsman Truck Series is brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. The best part is our people. And by Daytona USA, the official attraction of NASCAR. Let's go down to Dave Burns in victory lane.
And Rick Corelli, the High Plains Drifter, did about everything but drift today as he came to victory lane. I cannot believe the positions you made up at the end. How hard were you working on saving that truck? How hard was it to hold back?
Man, it was working. We had trouble, made some adjustments, and it was tight. Then we got loose, and we got tight. And Ronnie said at the end, he says, let's put some lefts on and go for it. But I'm going to tell you something. The Remax Chevrolet was great today. I told you earlier today we had a good truck. Last night we qualified in the darn, snow, ice, or whatever. But I tell you what, it came together today. And I'll tell you, to beat Hornaday here, I seen them coming. They kept running on the laps. And I says, we're going. We're going. I mean, I wasn't stopping.
Now he's wearing Gatorade, folks, because Ron Hornaday came in and poured a big bath on him. What does this win mean to you? I know it was big at Gateway when you won with Rodney Haygood for the first time, but, I mean, you came from a long way today, 26th starting position.
Well, it means a lot. I mean, we've had a great truck the last, since we started this season. Homestead, we were good, but we weren't good enough to win. Phoenix, I know we had a good enough truck to win. We had mechanical failures, but last week we had a great truck. And this week I knew we did. I messed up a little bit qualifying, but, when you got Ron Hunter Motors and Chevrolet behind you, and Goodyear tires were great today. And, this Mesa Marin, this is how I remember racing here, because I was in this victory lane a lot of times through the years. And, to get here back in a truck, it's great. Dominic and Calissa and Grandma, everybody, hello.
All right, Rick only needed 300 laps to prove he had the good truck, guys.
Let's take a look at the final results, and we had a total of 9 trucks on the lead lap behind Corelli, Harvick, Compton, Hornaday, Hensley, rounding out the top 5. As we take a look at that, any impressions in your first race?
That is classic truck racing right there. I mean, Ron Hornaday, never say die. But, Rick Corelli coming from 26 on the grid. Just a phenomenal day here at Mesa Marin.
So that's just about going to do it for us here at Mesa Marin, here in round number 4. Take a look at the updated points. Ron Hornaday holds on to a 45-point lead over Stacy Compton. Mike Wallace in third, a tie actually with Jack Sprague, as they are both 107 points behind after 4 of 25 races. So, for Jeremy Dale, Amy East, Dave Burns, I'm Marty Reed, and before we say goodbye, I want to remind you that next week we are going to be racing at Martinsville, and we want you to join us. The Napa 250 next Saturday, 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific time, here on ESPN 2, over on 2, not on ESPN next week. So we got to say so long. This has been a presentation of ESPN, part of the Go Network. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Go.com.